DJ Clips, DJ Riz.
Shade 45, rap is out of control. Back here live every Sunday night, 10 to 12. Myself, Eclipse, he is Riz, he is the Kyle over there. Next half hour, he'll have those announcements ready for y'all.
Yes, sir.
We have Rob Swift in the place.
Word up.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of history right here. And not just a lot of history, but Rob started devoting himself to history. And it started with, as far as from me, from a person watching, seeing what you did, you perfected your DJ craft. Obviously, you're one of the nastiest DJs and part of the nastiest DJ crews.
Thank you, E.
The X-Men, Executioners.
You're pretty nasty yourself, though.
I'm okay.
So is Riz.
Riz is even
Riz
nastier.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Riz is a big inspiration on me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So watching you guys come up in the 90s and establish yourselves, I was touching a little bit on this at the screening. All y'all kind of started as DJs for crews. Like I mentioned, you were DJing for Nelly. Those cuts were dope on the records.
Vagina Diner.
Busy.
What up, Ock? What up, Large? Yeah. XP.
Absolutely. And then watching y'all become turntablists and that whole scene, and then you guys win competitions. Rest in peace, Rock Raider.
R.I.P. Miss you, Raider.
Absolutely. And then just watching the progression of, okay, you put out records. You've toured. As the Executioners, you guys did tours and stuff like that, and then seeing you take your perfection of your craft and then become a teacher of DJing. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people I've seen, that do that, and but I actually watch some of your things that you've shared, like when you break stuff down. And I swear to God, I've never seen it broken down as articulate as Rob Swift does.
Technician, man.
In his clips.
Thank you, E.
So I can only imagine how the classes are, but it was like the perfect explanation of like how to do something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because a lot of these scratches, you're teaching people from beginner to advanced. And when you get to the advanced stuff, obviously those scratches are crazy, you know what I'm saying? But you just have a great way of relaying the information to people to be able to acknowledge it. So it was wonderful seeing you transition into that, and then seeing, Brolic Army become a thing. And then I started seeing you, getting more, I guess you could say, political on your socials, kind of like talking about the culture. And it's dope because, same for me, Riz, it's like, the culture is the most important thing of what we're part of, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and we've dedicated ourselves not just to what we do, but what we do to make the culture continue to be informative and to be universal and stuff.
We're the custodians of this culture.
Yes. So now that brings me to the City of Hip Hop, the book. At what point did you decide to take all that and say, okay, let me now put this in print form?
When someone on Twitter that identifies as Foundational Black America called me Latino filth. That's when I decided I was gonna write this book. Word up, bro. Like in 2020, I'm sure everyone in this studio remembers how polarizing that year was.
Right.
Things started to manifest themselves on social media in a very negative way amongst users of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook around the time that George Floyd was murdered. And unfortunately, this incident gave, I like to call them acronym brigades. When I'm talking about FBA and the ADOS and all that, B1s. And my thing is, look, if your plight is reparations and justice for Black Americans, I can get behind that. But when you're then jumping on social media and attacking someone like me who's Black, but also embraces their Latino heritage, and calling me filth, then we have a problem. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what sparked indirectly the book. I didn't know I was going to write the book when I started being attacked on Twitter by these acronym brigades. And the whole thing, just to give you a quick background on why I'm here and why this book exists, The City of Hip Hop. 2020, people started taking to social media because they couldn't interact anymore. We were in this pandemic lockdown. We couldn't go to each other's houses. So people started taking to social media and interacting in that way, right? Through their phones.
Yep.
But what started happening was these acronym brigades started to get loud voices, and their plight is reparations, getting what they feel black people, Americans, descendants of slavery, are owed as a result of slavery. But parallel to that movement, that plight, the 50th anniversary of hip hop was starting to roll in, right? So we had 2020, 2021, 2022, social media. Remember those 3 years or so, everyone was podcasting, talking, going live on Instagram. And as we started to approach 2023, the 50th quote unquote anniversary of hip hop, these acronym brigades started to feel like they wanted to just talk about hip hop in a way as if they owned it, and other races were quote unquote guests in hip hop. And when that started to really take fire and hold on social media, because I know what I know, and thank you, E, I can articulate my ideas in a way that maybe the typical DJ or rapper can't. I started to push back on a lot of these new, bizarro, crazy narratives that if you were non-black, you were a guest in hip-hop. And I'm sorry, Riz is not a guest in this culture. Eclipse is not a guest in this culture. I'm definitely not a guest in this culture. This culture is a ecosystem of people from different backgrounds, economic levels, nationalities, ethnicities, and me knowing that, I felt I was going to take it upon myself to push back, because I didn't feel like there were enough of us pushing back on these new narratives. And I get it, you know, like social media sucks your energy. Who wants to spend a whole day arguing with someone? But you know, I'm a debater, you know what I mean? So whenever I would see stuff, I would, you know, push back. And so after about a year or two of going back and forth with random people on Twitter specifically, I realized I was educating a lot of people about how hip hop came to be without me trying. I'm arguing with someone, but in my argument, I'm trying to educate them. And I would look back at my tweets and be like, yo, this could be a book. And so I hit up my boy Rasul Moat, and The City of Hip Hop came to be.
The City of Hip Hop. The book is out there right now. Rob Swift is in the place. We're going to get more into what's in the book coming up next mic break, as well as some other stuff. But right now, Riz is itching to get back on.
I'm not really itching. I want to hear some more stories.
We're gonna get to that.
I want to hear some cutting and scratching.
You gotta come and just do a guest spot.
Making me itch.
There you go.
Make it.
Woo. Talking about routines. Oh, all right. Let's get back to music right here. DJ Riz on the 1s and 2s. Rap is out of control.
Haha, it's your boy Life Liggy Long, and right now you're listening to DJ Eclipse and DJ Riz on the Rap is Out of Control on Sirius XM. You done know.